Hey, 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 you're waking up with Craig.
Good morning and welcome back on Monday, December 10th. Let's start with the morning quote. Gold medals aren't really made of gold. They're made of sweat, determination, and a hard to find alloy called guts. Dan Gable. Tyner. Not gold medal, but the Heisman. Kyler Murray, what'd you think?
I knew it was coming. He was the best quarterback in college this year, and he would be the best pro prospect if he was going into football. But he's probably going to play baseball, and that's amazing. But Murray definitely deserved it. Tua is a great quarterback and probably has the best chance to go win a national championship again this year. But Kyler Murray, the stats prove it. The eye test proves it. I was very happy to find out he won the Heisman.
I think it was well deserved. I really do. I thought he played well this year, and some people say he played in the Big 12, whatnot, but he put up the numbers. He really did, and good for him. He showed us he's the real deal. Nevada the other night was down like 16 at halftime to Arizona State. Came back in the second half and won the game by 6, scoring 48 points. Is Nevada the real deal?
Nevada is the real deal. The twin brothers are amazing, and they need to be taken seriously this year. I feel like they were respected last year, but not as much as they should be. And they just have another year under their belt. I'm excited to watch them come tourney time. They could be another one of those teams that makes a deep run.
How many times have we seen this, though? Last year against Cincinnati, Nevada got down like 22 points and came all the way back and won. The other day they were down 16, came back and won. There's been games this year they were down early, they've come back and won. I think Eric Musselman, the coach, just has them working so well together. The Martin brothers are unreal. Both of them can play, and the rest of the guys on the team aren't scrubs either. They're good basketball players, and they're just a bunch of seniors that know how to work together. You really think, though, that they can compete with the Dukes, Gonzagas,
I don't know about that. They can make a deep run. I don't think once they match up against the Dukes, the Gonzagas, then you can't get down to teams like that. You get down 20 to Duke, you're going to lose by 40.
I will say something that they have that can compete with the Duke and stuff is they score a lot. Mm-hmm. There's a lot of teams out there that are good, like Michigan stuff, but they get in the 70s. Nevada has a lot of games where they're in the 90s, and they score a lot of points. I mean, 48 points and a half? That's crazy. So they do have the means to compete. Putting up points, though. I thought the Pats were going to put up a lot of points. They didn't put up enough. Apparently, Tyler, bring us through the Miami Miracle. What happened?
That is almost as crazy as the Minnesota Miracle, except the Minnesota Miracle happened in the playoffs. You never see these laterals work. You always see it go to some big lineman, and then they never get rid of it. They get hit, they fall off flat, and they're done. It was a perfect lateral at first from Stills. And watching the interview right after the game with Kenyon Drake, he was just so high on life. He was so happy. He told the reporter that he loved him. He was just amazed, and he felt blessed, and I thought it was over. I don't know why they had Rob Gronkowski in at safety. Ryan Tannehill cannot reach the end zone from the 30. Why is Gronk playing safety?
It makes no sense.
He looked like a goofball out there.
It's a joke, and just put in your defense. I get some people saying putting Cordell Patterson, Josh Gordon, but why? He's not throwing a jump ball. He's not throwing it 80 yards down the field.
Right.
What's funny, though, is this happened for Miami Dolphins. I think the last time we saw this happen was Duke played Miami.
Yeah.
And that lateral happened. I think that was the last time we seen one of these crazy laterals happen.
But I've seen the Giants put Odell on the last playoff back. But he can jump, and
right.
He's athletic. That if they were to throw something like a hitch underneath and then have a bunch of laterals, he can go run and make a tackle.
See, I would have put Josh Gordon out there personally.
Yeah, Gronkowski clearly could not.
He tripped up.
He tripped over his own 2 feet.
The 12-yard line got the best of him.
What a terrible coaching decision to
now,
put him out there.
That was tough, but the Pats are, the Pats are the Pats, and they've lost the last 5 or 6 or whatever in Miami, so something happens there, whatever. They probably won't see Miami. But what's going on with Pittsburgh? I'm starting to get a little worried about the Steelers.
Pittsburgh is missing Le'Veon Bell. They especially missed James Conner this week.
That did hurt today. I will give
They
him
didn't
that.
have any run game whatsoever today. But Le'Veon Bell, so elusive. Even if the run game isn't going, he can slip outside, and you can give him the ball on checkdowns. And he can even run routes. They were missing their run game. They And Big Ben, with all the pressure, clearly can't do it. We've seen it time and time again
Mm-hmm.
this year. Big Ben's getting older. And when the pressure's on him, he seems to make terrible decisions, terrible throws. He got hurt, and that probably plays a big role because he missed a chunk of time, and the offense did nothing when Dobbs was in that quarterback.
And Mike Tomlin made a comment about the field because they play on the baseball field or whatever, and the kicker slipped or whatever. But you can't even let the game be that close. Like against the Broncos, they lost. Like, oh, we could have won it here. The game shouldn't even be within a touchdown. If you're going to be one of the top 3 teams in the AFC, if you want to be with the Chiefs and the Pats, put teams away. Put teams away, and that's their biggest issue. The Chiefs would never let this happen. They wouldn't let you get close. The Ravens are way better than the Raiders. So, yes, overtime game, understandable against the Ravens. But games against the Raiders and teams that have 2-4 wins, you can't let them stick around.
Also, the Raiders are playing on the same field. So you can complain about the field all he wants, but the Raiders have to deal with it.
Right. But we talked about a few wins. Who had the biggest win yesterday?
There's a couple that had big wins. I'd say most importantly, my fantasy team that I picked against you off the big board had the biggest win of the week.
My team sucked.
That was
Todd
demolishing.
Gurley sucks. He's dead.
Saquon Barkley is still the best running back in the NFL.
Todd Gurley's a joke.
Kittle was amazing today. He caught an 85-yard touchdown.
Yeah, 210 yards. What?
I pretty much just am a genius at picking these types of things.
It's a joke.
Just follow me on your daily fantasy things.
It's an absolute joke.
Secondly, I'd like to throw out that the Giants had a huge win today. They blew out Washington. Sanchez, don't even get me started. Not a good quarterback.
You're gonna tell me that?
I
I let you want to go there for a second. You're gonna tell me he's better than Colin Kaepernick?
No. He's a better teammate. And less of a distraction.
Just
It's
because
not all about who's the better talent.
Just because he kneeled
I tell you,
doesn't
I
make him a
wouldn't
bad teammate.
There's a reason he's not on any NFL teams.
There's guys that want him.
There's some players that would like to have him on the team.
Right, that's what I'm saying.
Coaches and owners don't want him.
I bet you a few coaches. It's highly owners. He's whatever distraction he brings, he's way better than Mark Sanchez.
Right. Not worth having him on the team.
All right. I think the biggest win.
But no, my real biggest win.
Okay, go ahead.
The Chicago Bears. The Chicago Bears all but locked up the division tonight.
Yeah.
Beat the Rams. Not only did you beat the Rams, you shut out the Rams in the second half. You held them to 6 points in the first half. Chicago's defense is the best defense in the league, and it's not even close.
Remember when I picked the Bears to win?
I remember when I had them on the little card, and you said you don't want to switch. I switched to the Bears.
Yeah.
I said that's the team I want.
And Bo said to me that the Bears collapse was coming. It's not.
No,
Bo said to me that the Bears were going to lose by 21. And I said this a while ago, that the Bears, I thought they matched up well with the Rams. And I went back and forth between them and someone else who had the biggest win. But I think the Bears could have lost this game and still made the playoffs.
Mm-hmm.
The Colts needed that one.
Yeah.
And when you beat a division opponent, especially now to 9-4, but 9-3 Texans at the time, won 9 straight, that's a huge win. That is a must-needed win. And now they really, with the Ravens losing, they're back in the mix. They have a very good shot at that last, and that just gives you the confidence. You could be 8-5 right now, but if you have no confidence going forward, I'll take that 7-6 team that's got a little, foot to the pedal.
Now the Saints didn't look good these past 2 weeks. They got the win yesterday, but the Rams just got their second loss.
Mm-hmm.
They're giving the 1 seed back to New Orleans.
Yep.
Home field's going to be huge. It is every playoffs,
Now,
and they just gave it back to New Orleans.
If we're gonna talk about the Rams and the Bears for a sec, what did you see in the game? It wasn't a great football game,
No,
but that's how the Bears have to win.
that's how the Bears have to win, especially against high. That's how you beat the Rams. You take it slow. You run the ball. You convert on third downs, and you just keep long drives going. Trubisky, even though usually you turn the ball over like Trubisky did today, you lose to a team like the Rams.
And I am a little worried about that going
Other
forward.
Other teams will lose to the Rams at that point. But the Bears' defense is so great that it allows Trubisky to make a mistake or two.
And I want to point this out, though. I've been a long time, and maybe some other guys like Patrick Mahomes and stuff should be considered for MVP. But did you see what happened when Gurley got taken out of the game? When Gurley was shut down, because they put so many guys in the box.
The Rams are different.
The Rams are a different team. The crap about Jared Goff being this MVP candidate, he sucked yesterday. Absolute garbage. 4 picks. That's outrageous. You're
Jared
awful.
Goff, I never thought he was good.
And the balls that weren't even picked, he was just throwing them at people's feet. He was throwing them away. He wasn't even trying to complete passes. Without Todd Gurley, Jared Goff is not even half the quarterback.
No, without Todd Gurley, Goff is a 6-10 quarterback year in and year out. Todd Gurley was absolutely shot down. Probably his worst performance of the year.
Yeah. Credit to the Bears, though. Credit to the Bears on the defense.
It just makes me happier that the Giants put up 30-something on that defense. It's amazing.
We'll get to the Giants in a moment.
Such a good team.
But let's go to the Eagles and Cowboys for a second.
Great second half game. Great second half of the game.
How big of a move was the Jerry Jones for Amari Cooper? Because at the time, I didn't think they should have traded
The first round pick.
I didn't think they should have traded the first rounder for Amari. I didn't think it would turn out like this.
I didn't either. I thought that was wild that they would trade a first round pick for Amari Cooper.
I thought Golden Tate was worth more.
I did too, but clearly the Eagles don't know how to use him. And Golden Tate is getting older in age.
Yep.
He's not old yet. I didn't realize how young Cooper was. Mid-20s. Low to mid-20s.
Yeah, I didn't either. I thought it was around 27, 28.
Amari Cooper balled out on
Yep.
Thanksgiving, and he extra balled out today with his best performance
He's been balling out the last few weeks.
of his career. It is clear, the evidence shows it was a great trade for the Cowboys because they needed that guy for Dak Prescott.
Yep.
Because before, they were under 500. Since they're like 4-1 with Amari Cooper. And Dak Prescott actually looks like a serviceable quarterback. He's still not good. Without Zeke, he is still a Jared Goff. He's still terrible.
He's
Awful.
worse than Jared Goff. He's awful.
He's god awful. I don't even want to respect him as a quarterback because he's not good. And I'd rather put like a trash can out there, honestly.
I want to talk about the Eagles.
I'd rather run Wildcat.
I got to talk about the Eagles for a second, though. It's a joke. It's an absolute joke.
They're a one-hit wonder.
Doug Peterson last year was going for it on 4th and 1, 4th and 6, and all this stuff.
That's true.
And this year, it's like at the 30-yard line, and it's 4th and 2, and he's kicking field goals. Like, what got you there? And I'll credit Sean McVay. His team didn't play well, but when he went for that fake punt, 4th and 8 on your own, 32-yard line, that is the type of stuff that's either going to lose you a game or win you a goddamn Super Bowl. That's what it's going to come down to.
The Eagles aren't going to playoffs.
No, and even if they somehow magically get there, they're not going to do anything. Wentz, I like Wentz, I really do, but he has not looked good this year. And they don't know how to use Golden
They
Tate.
play at the Rams next week,
I
and they play versus the Texans the
And
week after. They are done.
heard someone say that Golden Tate's not the guy they thought they were getting. Golden Tate did fine with Matthew Stafford.
Golden Tate is still Golden Tate.
They just don't know what to do with him. They have no clue whatsoever. Ertz is their best receiver, and he plays tight end.
Sometimes Golden Tate isn't even at the goal line. He's so small and shifty. I know he's not a big target. You can't just throw a jump ball to him, but you can have him in the slot somewhere.
Well,
Like, there's no point in taking him out.
when
He's a
you do
good
when
receiver.
you do trips on one side and you have 1v1, just run a slant. He's so quick, he's gonna get by the guy. But talking about the NFC East, here's your moment. Giants still alive.
Giants
Here we go.
Still alive. The Cowboys win against the Eagles today. Pretty much. Well, no, not pretty much. It absolutely eliminated us from winning the division. So it's clear we're going for that 6th spot, that wild card spot. The Eagles are now 6-7, with the Rams and Texans coming up. They're going to lose 9 games. At best, they go 7-9. They're done. I'm not worried about Mark Sanchez. I'm not worried about the Panthers, who lost to Baker Mayfield and the Browns today.
We're gonna get to that in a minute.
Panthers have 2 games against the Saints coming up. That's not good for them. They're done. And then there's 2 other teams we got to worry about. Minnesota and Green Bay. Green Bay only has to lose 1 more game, and they play at Bears next week.
Yeah.
I'm very, very, very much on board with the Bears next week. After beating the Rams, there's no doubt in my mind they can beat the Packers.
Yeah.
That would put them out of our way, and it's just his Vikings. And that's going to be our toughest test, but hey, we're still alive. The New York Giants looked like a team. I'm really excited about 2019, and I'm really excited to see if we can go to the playoffs this year. But I think next year we're going to be a force to beat.
I do want to focus on 2019 for a second. Are you on board with Shermer now?
I am fully on board with Shermer right now.
Because I think early on this year there was frustration, but I also think you just didn't have the pieces. The line wasn't
The line
there,
was awful.
and the defense wasn't playing as well and playing better.
And though the defense was playing better, Landon Collins wasn't there today.
Mm-hmm.
We traded away 2 big pieces of our defense. We're going to lose some this offseason, but we still had a great game plan. So I like what Shermer's doing. I think he's getting used to the pieces he has.
Mm-hmm.
I heard today that we had 15 players returning from last year, or something like that.
Yep.
That's a lot of new guys. So everybody's growing together, and it took us half the season to find out who we were and how we were.
And I think the guys like Shermer. I think
we
they do.
threw up 40-something points without Odell today.
Yeah.
So I think sometimes Eli just tries to rely on Odell too much.
Tries to force it in there.
When Eli can still spread the ball, and that's how you're going to be successful. If everybody's focused on Odell, other guys are open.
Right.
Especially they didn't know what to do today because Eli was throwing it to guys named Benny Fowler.
Yep.
So, and Saquon is the best running back in the NFL. He will go down as the greatest running back in NFL history.
So I'm going to flip the script. I asked you who had the biggest win. Who had the loss that's going to hurt them the most?
Well, there's one I can think of off the bat, and it's the Denver Broncos.
Okay, yeah.
Because if they wanted any chance, there are 4 teams at 7-6 that are going to be fighting for one playoff spot, one wild card spot. The Broncos lost today, falling to 6-7. They have to surpass those 4 teams. You lost Emmanuel Sanders. Your one receiver was Sutton today, or yesterday. You lost to the 49ers. You are done. Your playoff hopes are shattered. So the biggest loss yesterday, Denver Broncos.
I'm gonna tell you why it's not the Broncos, and this is why. We're talking about the teams that could make the playoffs, and when I think of teams that can make the playoffs, I want the teams that are actually gonna make some noise. Case Keenum can. If he still had Emmanuel Sanders and Demaryius Thomas, I think they could. And Sutton as their 3, I think he could do some noise. But you're at a point this year where they do. I think they realize they're not going anywhere. They're not.
Not now.
And even if they would have made the playoffs, I don't think they would have done much. And I think that now they're just going to help themselves with the draft pick. A team that was hot and then has been cooling off very fast is the Panthers. They have the biggest. Okay. They had the biggest loss to me only because they have weapons like Cam Newton, McCaffrey, Funchess, and a good defense where they in the playoffs could go upset a Rams or a Bears or someone like that. Where I don't think the Broncos can. So I think their loss hurts them.
We've talked about them. We've said the Eagles had a tough loss today. It's going to hurt them.
Yep.
You know who else had a tough loss? And we've talked about it. The Patriots.
Yeah.
They gave away home field advantage. They are not getting home field advantage. It looked for a while like the Chiefs were going to lose.
Yep.
And it looked like the Pats were going to win.
And things
have
flipped
control,
very, very fast.
Have their own control to go get the 1 seed. Both of those things flipped. The Pats are now 2 back. The Chiefs are going to run, it's going to run through Kansas City. Unless the Chargers go beat them with a division. I still think the Chiefs are going to host the AFC Championship against the Pats.
I saw the remaining schedule was Bills, Jets, and someone else after for the Pats. And I was like, all right, I made the Steelers. And the Steelers are kind of shambles right now. So if they would have beat one today, I thought they were going to win out and finish with 3 losses. And I'm not going to lie, I think the Chargers have a real shot at the Chiefs on Thursday night. I know it's in Kansas City, but I think the Chargers have a real shot. So if they would have lost that one or lose another one down the road, you never know. Right. With division games, they could have. I really think the Pats could have the one.
They're the Patriots, so they didn't give away their season, but in a way they did.
I will say this though: Chiefs are the 1. The 2 is the Pats. The 3 is the Texans.
Yeah.
Unless the Steelers somehow pass them with the because they both lost today. And I think the Texans are going to have a couple tighter games down the road because they have to play the Titans. And
the Steelers are 7-5-1 now.
Yeah, but this is my thing.
The Texans are 2 wins away from making sure the Steelers don't pass.
This is my thing. I think the Chiefs are going to have a tougher first-round matchup than the Pats will. Because whoever the 6 is, I don't think is going to go beat the Texans. So I think the Texans are going to go to New England, where they've struggled a little bit at times.
It's not the same team, but
and going to New England is tough. Going to New England is tough in general.
I think it's going to be Pats Chiefs in the AFC Championship.
The teams that can beat the Chiefs are teams that can put up a lot of points. Like the Chargers or the Steelers. So whoever comes out of that game to me, which I actually think it would be the Chargers right now, especially if they play for it'd be a third time they played. If they win on Thursday, beating a team for 3 times is tough.
Yeah.
It is really, really tough. I'm interested to see what happens down the road.
Oh, yeah.
But a big game tonight.
Oh, yeah. Close to your heart, huh?
Close to my heart. Cousins can't possibly play any worse than he did last week.
Giants fans, we need Seattle tonight. Go Seattle.
He can't possibly play any worse. The $84 million. I was talking at our softball tournament to our good friend Greg Labonte.
Oh, he's an amazing softball
And
player.
he made a good point to me. We paid him a lot of money. And yes, in a way, it was overpaid. But overpaid in my mind is I wouldn't give that guy that much money because he's not playing up to it. But did we pay him more than the market is worth? I don't think so. I think Greg said it best. That's the direction it's going in. Because if we didn't pay him 84, someone was going to.
And then somebody else would be dealing with his awful quarterback play. And you could have kept Case Keenum, the gunslinger.
No,
The
Case
greatest
Keenum.
quarterback in Vikings history.
If Case Keenum had the team we have this year, no, we'd be worse.
Probably be undefeated.
No, that's a joke.
No, that's a
Give
joke.
me one breakout player tonight.
Tyler Lockett. And it's not just because he's on my fantasy
It
team.
is because he's on your fantasy
It's
team.
definitely because he's on my fantasy team. I need him against this kid in our real fantasy league. But Tyler Lockett, the Seattle receivers are going to be the difference as far as Seattle goes.
Mm-hmm.
The running game is always good for Seattle. They've relied on the running game this year.
Yep.
But Russell Wilson,
Whether that be with Russell Wilson or with running backs.
Russell Wilson hit like his receivers for, it was probably just the first half, but like 4 catches,
Mhm.
3 of them for touchdowns. You might not get all those big plays against the Vikings tonight. So I think Tyler Lockett, if Doug Baldwin plays, he's your 2. He returns. He's going to be involved. He's going to get a lot of touches. I think if Tyler Lockett plays well, the chains are going to move. Seattle's going to have not a big problem containing the Vikings, controlling the game against the Vikings.
I went with Kirk Cousins last week.
No, here we go.
I'm going to go with Kirk Cousins tonight.
Yeah, it worked so well last week.
This is the biggest game of Kirk Cousins' career.
Didn't we say it? We've said this before.
This is the biggest game of his career because it's all on the line. And we've talked about this. I don't think it's must-win record-wise, although it's starting to look that way. It's starting to get pretty close to it.
But
But
I lost 6-6-1.
But it is a must-win on – you need some motivation going into the playoffs if you even get there. I think this is Cousins' biggest game. Because beating Green Bay at home,
You make me laugh.
okay. We were better than Green Bay. You should have beat – actually, the Bears are looking pretty good. You shouldn't have beat the Rams. You shouldn't have beat the Saints, whatever. Go beat Seattle. Go beat Seattle tonight. This is his biggest game of his career.
You know, he happens to be on your fantasy team against me.
Yes, he's awful. No game he's ever played in Washington meant anything. Nothing.
You know who else is going to break out tonight?
No.
Dalvin Cook. He has played back-to-back exceptional. I won't say exceptional. Saquon Barkley's exceptional. He's played back-to-back phenomenal weeks, fantasy-wise. 18 and 19 points.
I love the Vikings. I do.
And he has been he's amazing. He is the difference between you guys winning. Kirk Cousins can't do it all. He will not be Seattle just throwing the ball. If Cook struggles, the Vikings will not win tonight.
Dalvin Cook
Is amazing. He's going to go off tonight.
He has
30 fantasy.
He has attributes that make him very, very talented.
2 touchdowns, 150 yards.
The problem with Dalvin Cook is he just hasn't put it together this
No
year.
fumbles.
Don't even get me. You know what? We're gonna take a moment for this. He has huge fumbling problems because against the Bears,
Tonight, no.
that fumble to start the game or whatever when we were in inside their 30 cost us that game. Cost us the game. I hate Dalvin Cook.
He's the key to your success.
I hate
Because
Dalvin
Kirk
Cook.
Cousins isn't going to get it done.
Who gets the 6th AFC spot?
AFC?
Yep.
See, I think the Colts are going to lose a couple down the stretch. They got a tougher schedule.
Yeah. They still play the Giants, right? Okay.
That's a loss right there. I'm going to stick with the Ravens because the Dolphins have to win out, and they had a hype win against the Patriots tonight, which is going to lead to a downfall the following week. That's just the way it works. You get all hype about that win, and you're not really a good team. You lose next week. Giants play the Titans. They're 7-6. Derrick Henry's not going to do what he did.
No,
they're not going to play the Jaguars again. Titans, no. So it's going to be Ravens. I want to talk a little bit about the Ravens, too. They played well against the Chiefs. Well enough to win.
You can't take Lamar out at this point. I'm sorry.
You
just
can't. But when they had 50-something seconds at the end of the game to drive down the field when it was tied, like just to get in the field goal range, I didn't have confidence that Lamar can't sling it down the field.
I agree.
And get you down. So if you have a minute left and you need to get down the field, Lamar Miller's not there yet. And that's a problem when you play great teams like the Chiefs, because it might come down to who has last possession. And if they have last possession, I don't have any trust. That game's going OT to me.
I'm glad you made this point.
He fumbled. That's just pocket awareness, knowing what you're doing.
I'm glad you made this point.
But I just don't have faith in him right now to beat good teams or great teams. I have him being able to beat good teams, but nowhere near ready for any playoff success.
So you made a good point. You don't trust in Lamar. So Lamar, for me, the Ravens are out. I don't trust Mariota. I don't.
You can't.
And
they're going to lose the Giants next week. It'll be 7.
They do have Derrick Henry and Deion Lewis they're good running backs, but Corey Davis is your number one. Come on. That's a joke. Who else we got? The Dolphins. It was great what they did today, but I don't trust Ryan Tannehill. I don't even know if he'll be, week to week, I don't even know if he's healthy enough
to play. He looked good for some reason yesterday, but he's not.
I believe in Andrew Luck the most. I do, and I think T.Y. Hilton is a stud. I like Marlon Mack right now, running back, what they're doing with him. Eric Ebron,
He's a stud.
We were talking about the Eagles is ruining Golden Tate. The Lions didn't know what to do with Ebron. He was awful. The Colts have rebuilt Ebron. They really have.
Yeah.
Ebron owes a huge thank you to the Colts organization, especially Andrew Luck.
Colts have 2 tough games coming up. Cowboys, both at home.
Yeah.
Cowboys, Giants. I mean, they could find a win against either of those teams, and then they play the Titans.
I think if it came down to it, Andrew Luck could go beat the Titans if it came down to it.
Yeah.
I think they can beat the Giants. I'm not saying it's a winnable game, though. You have to admit it's winnable.
It's not.
You're ridiculous. And I think they're going to beat the Cowboys. The Cowboys are due for a slip-up.
That's fair. They'll win everyone they'll win the 2 but the Giants if you want. We can go with that.
All right. Give me your 2 wild cards.
In
NFC.
The Seattle Seahawks and the New York Football Giants are my 2 wild cards. Seattle is already 7-5. I think they're going to get the win against Minnesota, become 8-5. And they have 2 cupcake games. There's no cupcake games in the NFL. But as far as the Niners and the Cardinals are,
it's easier games.
It's much easier games. I can see Seattle winning those 2, putting them at the 5 seed, undisputed. And the Giants are going to win out. The Vikings are going to slip up. The Giants sneak into that 6 seed, and it's a beautiful thing.
The 2 NFC wildcard teams are playing tonight. They're both playing tonight.
I didn't know the Giants had a scrimmage
They
tonight.
don't play tonight. So they're not getting in.
We're eliminated from the division. You know we're making playoffs.
You're not making the playoffs. You guys aren't. You're not there.
Storm was right when he said I was top 1 smartest people.
You started way too late. Just too late.
I'm the only one that brings intelligence to the show.
No.
And I don't want to discredit you. I know you're a great student, and I know you sometimes can use your brain. You don't know what you're talking about on this one, Siege.
Earlier today, you tweeted something at Waking Up with Craig.
I did. Hey, go give me a follow at TinyTimes123.
That's great.
TinyTinyes 123.
But I saw it and it was you need 5 things to happen week 15, 4 things week 16,
No,
5 things
simple.
week 17.
It's on 1 page.
We'll let him read it to you.
All right, it's quite simple. Dallas over Philly yesterday. Already happened. Seattle over Minnesota tonight. Very well could happen.
It could happen, yeah.
Carolina loses 2 of 3. They have New Orleans, Atlanta, New Orleans. Don't tell me they can't lose to the Saints twice. Philadelphia loses 2 of 3. They got the Rams and Houston coming up. Tell me they can't lose those games. The New York Giants have to win out. Tennessee at home, at Colts. Dallas at home, when Dallas might not be fighting for anything. That could be huge because Dallas may not play.
I get that, but the Colts are going to beat you.
But the Colts are terrible. They are a terrible football team run by a terrible coach and have a quarterback whose arm is about to fall off if I were to shake it too hard. If I were to give him a firm gentleman's handshake, his shoulder would collapse.
All right, what else?
Green Bay's going to lose 1 of 3. They have the Jets in between these two games. I don't even count them. They're going to beat the Jets. Chicago and Detroit, they're going to lose one of those division games.
Both losable.
Probably at Chicago this coming week. That would be huge. Green Bay. And our one tough thing is you. We pretty much need help from you. That's it. We only need help from one team.
I don't feel helpful this time of year. I don't feel like giving at all.
Well, Kirk Cousins gives the other team a lot. So Minnesota could lose to Detroit and Chicago. And maybe Miami's hot now, baby. Maybe Miami's coming for
What do you need
next
from
week.
Minnesota?
Lose 2 of 3. Miami, Detroit, Chicago. Chicago's probably the best chance you lose.
Yeah.
So if you lose one of, you got to lose tonight. But then if you lose Miami or Detroit, you probably are nervous.
Yes. But if
'Cause
we
then
win
you got
tonight,
Vegas.
is it over for you?
I mean, for you guys to go 0-3, I might have to visit the black market and get somebody to take out Kirk Cousins because that's the only way. Well, he's not very helpful.
No, he's not.
Laquan Treadwell is your best receiver. I'd have to take.
Okay, that's where we're going to end today. Before we get into that, thank you for listening. Please follow Waking Up with Craig on Twitter.
And
Subscribe.
Times 1, 2, 3.
Subscribe to the YouTube channel, Waking Up with Craig. Thank you for listening. Have a great day. Remember, keep on